Oh, yeah. Let's do it. Episode 73. I like that number. Yeah, let's do it. Grab a drink. Okay. Let's see if my camera's working. I think it is. Come on in. Zero point zero, baby. Boop, 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 boop. Nope. 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 There's my Mozart. What's up, people? Wow, we got a group in here already. Howdy. It is a Wednesday. And I gotta say, I don't mind Wednesdays. Not my favorite day of the week. But it's closer to the weekend and Monday, again, which is my favorite day of the week. Cheers right here. Drinking Heineken. Out of all the popular no alcohol beers, I like the Heineken one, probably the best. It doesn't taste sweet. I hate sweet beer. Cheers. All right, here we got here. Hey, Amanda, William, Dallas, Cassandra. Cassandra, you're the Churchill Street address, right? I think this goes out tomorrow morning. Peter Benedetti, Fallon, my mama, Eric Carr. Mwah, mama, what's up? I think I got a neat show tonight. I'm gonna speak a lot from the heart on this one. I haven't formulated all my thoughts on it, which I tend to do live tonight. Let me see here. Before we get into this, I just want to say thank you to everybody who came to the show on Monday. That was really great. My guest, Fallon, what's up? Amanda, Icelandic water. What is that? Icelandic water. Sounds good. My buddy, Todd Neufeld, who is the balloon master that was on the other day, that was great. I could have talked with him for hours about balloons and whatnot. He's a great dude. He's a great artist, businessman, the whole thing. He knows how to run his business. Rick Sherman, cheers. So, today I saw in the news, I talked about this on my last episode, or two episodes ago, last week. John, St. Pauli Girl NA, that's a good one too. And I saw something in the news, so I'm always looking for UFO stuff. They haven't dropped the mega load yet. Although the Pentagon guy was asked directly if there are UFO bodies and crafts. And his answer was so, not an answer. It was unbelievable. He could have been like, no, we don't, that's crazy. Or, I can't answer that. He didn't say it. He just kind of blew it off, and it's like, wow. It was so obviously they're hiding something. But that's not the news article that got me today. I saw a little mention of this microwave weapon. It happened in Cuba. They're calling it the Havana Syndrome, where a bunch of people, I think they were mostly Americans, were in a hotel, and they got beamed with some energy beam that messed them up. Well, it happened in D.C. to about 100 people. And now, I think they're saying it's not a weapon, but it is a weapon. So, it's some gadget that can read our phones. It somehow can suck the information out from far away, which is terrifying. And now I heard they're using it. They think they might have used that technology. Now they're using it as a weapon. I don't know. Pretty weird. I think it's weird they're mentioning it. The U.S. government doesn't admit weakness. So when they say, we don't know, they either... I don't... You don't say that. If there's something weird bothering me and I have a bunch of like adversaries, I don't let them know that unless it's also bothering them. So either A, they're making it up to throw us into another direction because they have something else happening, you know, the old bait and switch, or they really are truly terrified. Well, okay, Fallon, great point. It is a sound that people hear in their mind, like they hear like a high-pitched frequency in their brain. But it could be a device used to read electronic devices, and it has a physical effect now. I don't know. That's what I read. I'm curious. It sounds terrifying. That means you could be at home and get attacked. You can't hide anymore. No more hiding. What else? No show on Friday, folks. I wish I could. I'm starting to get wacko busy. This month is busy as living hell. I have about 25 shows booked. No joke. Not joking. Next month, July, not so busy. July and August, I slow down a hair. And then September, October is going to be nutso. If it's this busy now for me, can't wait for October, November, December. Let's do it. So no show on Friday, but I'll be back here on Monday. What else? It's Miss Guy's birthday. Happy birthday, Guy. I don't think you're watching, but if you are, I love you, and you're an amazing person. I've gotten to work with him all over the world, on stages all over the place, big, small, dirty, and clean. The whole gambit. We've been there through thick and thin. Do I have... William says both radio waves and sound could cause similar effects to human body when concentrated. Yes, true. In honor of Miss Guy, let's watch a little bit of this. Check this out. I would say this is one of my proudest videos we made, just because it captures a little bit of what it would be like being at one of our shows. It was crazy. We're still crazy, but this is really crazy. Watch this. Watch the end of this. Check it out.
Living like a millionaire.
Wowzers. There you go. Miss Guy doing his thing. Wow. Imagine touring in that racket for a long time. Woo! Vinyl for sale. Well, if you go on eBay, you'll definitely see it. Yeah, we had a crazy fire show, and we were safe at it. I mean, we had our problems, but we were good at it. It's when the venue told us what to do. Is there Toilet Boys vinyl for sale? No. But I will say, I'm not supposed to say anything, but there's some re-releases coming. Can't really say. I'm not allowed. But as the old vinyl, eBay has it. I have some that eventually will go out as prizes, but they're not for sale. I have a few extras. Not a lot. I've got some 7-inch picture discs and 12-inch picture discs. Not a whole heck of a lot. So eventually I'll throw one of those into a prize. Dude. Almost ready to get into this. If you're new to this channel, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and the notify bells. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and if you are below 1,000, you're basically shadow banned. That's the way it goes. So, trying to get to 1,000. So the best thing you can do, Fallon, yes, Squeezebox flashbacks. I'm gonna do a show on Squeezebox one night. Just on Squeezebox and show a bunch of videos, because woo. But if you are watching this show and you're new, yeah, the least you can do is hit the like and subscribe buttons. That's it. I'm building it up. And if you're a donor and you actually donate to this show, by golly, it goes right into the show direct. And thank you, Fallon. You gave me the last one. Thank you. It means a lot when I get them. I do this full time. This is now my full-time gig. I literally... my life transformed this year. I've always been a busy guy with shows, but this year it went from busy to not busy to a new kind of busy, right? And now the new kind of busy actually became real, and my old busy came back. So now I got both of these things looming about. So that's how that goes. And hey, Dan P. So, getting close here. Let's do this. Let's do this episode. I don't know what triggered me to do this. Here's my bot, Zalphon. If anybody wants to know anything, you hit exclamation point and then points, and my bot will tell you how many points you have in the chat. If you're watching this show and you don't know what the heck's going on with all these points and weird chat gaming going on, look in the description. It shows you what's going on. Yeah, here's the picture for tonight. The Anointed and the Heretics. And I wasn't sure. It's so funny. I didn't know what this was going to be tonight. And it just kind of came together. Donations. And it came together because I decided not to do a lot of... there's no research to do on this. It's just me talking. But I really do need participation tonight. I want to hear your thoughts on this because I'm going to be asking myself some personal questions, and you can also ask me personal questions in this subject. And I want you to think about the things that we're talking about on your terms, how you would deal with this. Basically, what I'm talking about tonight is when I say the Anointed, I am referring to the notion that there are certain types of people in certain industries, in all industries, whether it be the music business. Oh, before we go anywhere, I'm speaking from my POV, my point of view. I don't, I live as a full-time artist guy. A performance artist. I mean, I do performing and I give lessons on the type of performing I do, which is magic. I do these kind of things. That's it. That's how I make my living. Full time. So my whole point of view is from that point of view. I'm coming from a working class artist point of view. And I'm going to be talking tonight about the music business, the variety business, the political business, all businesses having a class of people I call the anointed. And what I mean by that, and I always go like this, it means they have been let into a club. And there are some rules for that club. George Carlin used to say, it's a big club and you ain't in it. And he was talking about, because he made a lot of money as a very famous person, but he also ruffled feathers too. And he was anointed because they had to anoint him, meaning they had to kind of let him do some things because of how popular he was. But at the end of the day, I don't think they'd ever let him in all the way. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So I really want thoughts. This is, if you're new to this channel, this is an audience participation show, and it's live for a reason. And if you're watching the canned version of this, go read the comments, because that's what this show's about. So I put the anointed and the heretics. And I like the textbook definition of a heretic. If you look up heretic online, the definition is... well, the first definition, the first one, a person believing in or practicing religious heresy. So it's referring to a religious thing right away, which is what heretic is. Heresy, heretic. And then here's the definition I'm getting at. The second one is a person holding an opinion at odds with what is generally accepted. Now, yes, he did. That's what he said. An opinion that's not generally accepted, and it's considered heretical. This is why I'm not into hate speech being banned or any speech being banned. I'm talking even about the orange man getting kicked off of all these platforms. I know a lot of people watching hate him, and they're like, yeah, great, I'm glad he got kicked off. But that same sentiment's going to be used against you and me. So I'm not into it. I'd rather the dummies have a voice. Let them have a voice. When you erase the dummy's voice, what does that mean? A little weirded out by that. So heretical speech, things that go against the grain, even if they're not true. Doesn't matter. So let's talk about this whole notion of anointed, why someone wants anointed. Hold on. Joel says, I always associate Heretics with Exorcist 2. Exorcist 2, The Heretic. It's not a bad movie, but it's a little... Exorcist 3, though. Woo! Great movie. Funny quote there. I like it. So, why would I want to be anointed? Well, I think the anointed people make more money, don't they? They get more respect. They get more airtime. They get the microphone handed to them. They are the ones doing the thing, right? Well, let's go back now. So let's say you're an artist and yeah. Fallon just brought a good point up. Yeah, when you silence the dummy, you're making a martyr out of him too. Yeah. But I also think there's a reason why people are silenced. Maybe the guy that's the bad guy that nobody likes said some things that actually were so true that it hurt. Now, I'm not defending the Orange Man, but I will say he's one of the only presidents to mention the military-industrial complex and how bad it is. When he first said that, I was like, oh, whoa, he just said it. And I'm sure the whole political spectrum was like, I can't believe he just said that. Even the Republicans and the Democrats. So that's why when somebody says something that makes people that upset, I go look at it. I want to know what made everybody that upset. Usually things that are that powerful have some sort of something going on that need to be addressed. Just saying. That's my version of the third side point of view. That's what I do. If somebody says something that's so amazing, I'll take a peek. If somebody says something that's so awful or considered to be awful, I want to see what it is. That's why I don't like silencing anybody. I want to be able to hear. It seems like I'm coming from the notion of a guy who, all right, so let's get into this. Where do you, to get anointed, what does that mean? And what are the requirements? And I'm going to give examples of what anointment means. And I'm going to give examples of some celebrities talking about it. Yep, the blue check on Twitter, which they don't tell you what it requires it either. It's a mystery. Yeah, it really is kind of weird. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he sometimes said some things that were so shockingly true, you know, and that to me means something. So, okay. When you're looking at a corporate formula of things, let's say the music business, let's use that as an example. They have a way of working, and I've broken it down into 2 points. One is they have a lot of money to invest in something and to make it grow a bit and give it a little jazz, right? So if they see something they like, they go, we know how to take that and make it work, right? They have formulas that they've tried out and work. That's just the way it goes. And I'm going to break that down in a second. For instance, and I've mentioned this before, I had written with my friend a children's book, and I was told that it's very hard to get a kid's book published with the art supplied. The reasoning is, if you wrote a really cool kids novel or a kids picture book, they have a group of artists that they know for a fact sell. If they put the book out in the bookstore or the picture pops up, they've test marketed the art. They know that guy's art's popular. That's in style. If you draw 1968 style kids art, they're going to be like, no one's buying that anymore. They want to look at these kind of cartoonish type of imagery. And therefore, if you show up with the art, they're like, no, we have our artists that sell. We know. Same thing with the music business. I was told by somebody that's pretty high up in the music business that they don't like to sign bands that have a look. I'm going to look at these comments in a second. Bands that have an image and write their own tunes. They don't like that. Why? Because they can't plug in one of the formulas. If you dress cool and you have a certain image that represents the time or it's unique and you write crappy songs, no problem. You guys look great. We got songwriters. We have a lot of them, actually. Come on in. If you are really good songwriters, but you're kind of homely and schluppy and don't look like a rock star, we got it. We plug in what's in style right now. You get a new haircut and a new, you get a stylist and you're off to the races. When you have both, there's nothing for them to put their hand in. There's nowhere for them to put the formula. It's a risk. It's a little riskier. Zappa said in the 60s, they were a little bit more into taking a risk in the late 60s, early 70s, because the dudes running the music business were a bunch of old guys who didn't know anything. And they were like, we're from the 30s and 40s. We don't know anything. You kids, if this is selling, yeah, go ahead, do it. Now, the industry's flooded with dudes that wish they were artists or musicians and think they are in some way, shape, or form. And they're the ones calling the shots now. So they are putting their hands in. So let's just say there it is. Corporations, art corporations, film industry, they have formulas, right? The second part to this formula that they're looking for, they're not only looking for somewhere to plug the formula, they're looking for the person who, once they plug the formula in, isn't going to start hitting buttons they're not supposed to. And that's what we're going to talk about. Oh, Milli Vanilli, yeah. Hitting buttons, what would that mean? Well, it would mean getting to... okay, I think it was Steve Miller that got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I don't know if you know this, but the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is fake news. It's a pay-to-play game. It's a money-making scam. The dude, the Steve Miller guy's like, in the press conference, look it up. He's like, I should have posted a link to this. He's angry that his band had to pay like $20,000 a ticket for their family to come see the show. They didn't even give him free tickets. They made the band pay for the couple tickets. No guest list. What? It makes no sense to me. You're being honored, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they're making you pay all this money? That's fake, man. That's not cool. So he starts to get a little pissy in the press conference, and the lady that is in charge of it, who works for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, is like, okay, that's enough. And he's like, no, it's not enough. I'm not done. And he goes off. That's what I mean by hitting buttons. Those dudes don't get anointed, or they get ousted quick. I put a link to a, let's do one more on the art, in news and politics. Have you ever watched the news and somebody on the news says the truth? Straight up, blah. And you see the casters like, oh, I can't believe you just said that. Kind of like when Trump brings up the military-industrial complex in a press conference, which you don't hear. I'm trying to think of another one. Look in the description right now. Underneath, I put a link to a video. Jimmy Dore, the comedian. He is a left-leaning progressive, not into the Democrats or the Republicans. I wouldn't call him a libertarian. I lean a little more to the libertarian end of things, but he would go more in the progressive end of things. But here's what he shows on the show. He shows on the... Watch the clip in the very beginning it happens. It's a long clip, but he shows a guy on the news bringing up Syria. Now, when people hear Syria, they think Syria's bad. They gas their own people. Well, that's what the narrative is. But the reality is not that. There's this thing, which I didn't hear about. It's called Timber Sycamore. Timber Sycamore was the operation under Obama to fund the rebels trying to overthrow the Syrian government during Obama's time. And so he was trying to do it. Trump did it a little bit. And then Trump said, I don't want to do that. And then everybody went crazy. I'm like, you're not being responsible. I was like, wait, he just said he doesn't want to go to war. And people freaked out over that. He dropped the bombs, they freaked out. And then when he didn't, they freaked out again. It makes no sense. So I posted the clip. You can see the guy on the news spilling the beans on this Timber Sycamore and explaining the details. And you can just see the news people. You can feel it. They're like, this guy's never allowed again on TV. I mean, you can see it. I think Dylan Radigan, too, said a few shocking things on national TV. Factual things. And that was that. Bye-bye. Good night. Boop. Banned. So, Joel says, I always feel like I'm watching pro wrestling when I watch the news. I feel like I'm watching pro wrestling when I watch everything now. To me, everything's fake at this point. All of reality's not real anymore. It's all, there's nothing truthful. It's fact, but fact isn't truth. And I see lots of misfacts. Yeah, mainstream media is garbage. I mean, the boss of YouTube, where we're all right now, basically said anybody can make a show in their basement, making fun of what I'm doing now. And they favor corporate news. That's just the way it is. So that's what I mean by anointed. I'm going to play my favorite clip right now of Odorous Urungus talking about the anointed. And I can't say this any better. If your little kids are watching, there's some bad words coming up. This is what I consider one of my biggest influences in art, music, theater, all of the above. Dave Brockie, a.k.a. Odorous Urungus, they did very well. They're a working class band. They make their own costumes, props. They write their own music. They make their own videos. They tour like freaks. They're not rolling in cash. They're really famous though, right? Well, they got nominated for a Grammy. So somebody was like, they're cool. But then they were like, but don't invite them to the Grammys. They're not anointed. Look at this. I'm going to show it right now.
Oh, it was an absurd disaster. It was a debacle. We went, they nominated us for a Grammy, and then they didn't even want us to come to the damn party. We showed up anyway, hung around until Michael Jackson was done, and then beat it before Billy Ray Cyrus hit the stage. I mean, I could go on and on. We were posing for some stupid photograph with Michael Green, the president of NARIS at the time, and The LA Times had asked me, they said, Oderus, what do you think about being nominated for a Grammy? And I replied, quite honestly, it means nothing to me. It is a meaningless accolade bestowed upon Guar by a retarded child. Now, apparently that didn't go over very well with the showbiz community, whom I live to destroy. Now, let me tell you something. Those fucking celebrities giving each other awards is the last thing they need. Heaping gift bags with $50,000 watches inside of them, the privileged elites of your society, heaping prizes and praises and meaningless awards. What about an award for that girl who's working 60 hours a week so she can feed her 2 kids because her husband is overseas fighting your freaking war so you guys can have your gas guzzling fucking... Sorry, I get a little worked up about that shit. And then Dave Grohl gets up there on the Grammys. He's like, hey, I'm Dave Grohl. Oh, God, please let me suck some more corporate cocks. I get some more cocks in my mouth. I'm like, oh, quick, let's get some more cocks on stage for Dave Grohl to suck. He's not sucking enough. We think he can suck some more. Get Billy Joe from Green Day over here. Let him suck some cocks, too. They're like, okay, bring him in, guys, bring him in. Still, there wasn't enough cocks for Dave Grohl to suck. He actually, do you know that Dave Grohl had his teeth removed so he could fit more cocks in his mouth?
I mean, folks, that is amazing. I can't say it anymore of how, there it is. Yeah, forever missed. That guy was an amazing guy. I still can't believe he's gone. Those guys aren't anointed. They're the kind of guys that'll point out the baloney pretty quick. Here's, as plug-in formula goes, here's an example. Little story I'll tell. Hold on. Something in my mouth. Anywho, I was working in a magic shop. This is many moons ago. I was already working shows, getting gigs, working nightclubs. I worked in a magic shop 3 days a week, 4 days a week. And we had a lot of touring magicians when they were, especially cruise boat guys, they would stop and come on in. And I was in working, and this guy came in who was a cruiser, and hold on. I've got a hair in my mouth. Hold on. This is live entertainment, folks. So anywho, he comes in, and he is, when people come into a magic shop, they spend more than an hour or two. Sometimes they'll stay all day. Especially this guy, he's on the boat, and he's killing time. He comes in the magic shop. And he's watching me do my thing, and he's like, dude, what are you doing working here? You could be on a cruise making a lot more money. What do you... All right, well, cool, yeah, I could be. I never really went that route. I don't know, I just never thought of it. And he goes, look, I'm going to hook you up, okay? I'm going to give you my number, and you're going to call me, and I'm going to get you booked on a cruise. I'm going to take you through the steps. I think you're totally the material they're looking for. I was like, wow, cool. I went home. I mailed him my press kit. I sent him all my website info. I emailed him. I sent him everything I had. And then about a week later or so, it wasn't like immediate. It was like a week later. We got on the phone with each other. I think I called him up. And I remember this. It was like, he was like, look, you're great. You're perfect. Your act is, all the things that you sent me, the videos. That's it. That's what they want. They want magic. There's the hair. I knew it was there. They were like, the kind of magic that you do really does play to you could entertain anybody. Old guy, young guy, doesn't matter. And he goes, but here's what we need to do. You need to go get a stylist. You need a whole new wardrobe. You need a new haircut. Please cut the sideburns off. Your mustache is outdated. He literally went down a list, and I was like, And then when he was done, I was like, I'm sorry, man. That's not how I work. That's not it. And that was it. He was like, what? He was shocked that I wasn't willing to do that for that job. And what he meant was he wanted me to wear pleated jeans, a weird button-up shirt, and at the time, the hairdo was that like spiky gelled look. I mean, it's like not good. It's frosted tips and the, like not my thing. And I'm gonna be straight up. My image is very important to me. I pay attention to the details. If I'm wearing a shirt, it might be old and ripped, but I'm wearing it for a reason. I chose it for a reason. And I'm looking at the cut of the shirt, the picture, everything. I've been wearing the same pants for 25 years. I have one type of pants I wear. That's it. One type. I've got blue ones, black ones. The black ones I wear in my show. The blue ones I wear. Well, we're going to talk about that. What does that mean to sell out? That's what this show's about. What does that mean? There's two parts to it. There's the sellout part of compromise. What are you willing to do to get that? And then there's that having the gate to open it up and say, come on in. There's two parts to it. So from my point of view, from where I'm at, I've butted heads a few times with people because I'm not willing to compromise certain things. And I've been told by a couple of very well-known celebrity type friends that I'm too real. They're like, you're too real. They don't like that. Because, like I said, they know that if there's malarkey, I will definitely point it out. If somebody asks me to do something I don't want to do, I won't do it. Okay, so let's talk about this. First of all, my heroes growing up were Guar, the Dead Kennedys, the Ramones, Cramps. Now, even the Ramones, who I'm wearing their shirt today, they were popular. They weren't anointed, though. Everybody now, all the hipsters listening to them, they don't realize the last time I saw the Ramones play, their final tour, I saw them do 3 nights at Coney Island High, which is a tiny nightclub. They were not anointed. They were anointed after the fact. They got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame after Joey died and the band had been broken up for a long time. Now, they were on a major label. They never compromised, though. They never did. They stuck to their guns. They really were true. Same with Motorhead. These kind of artists to me were the ones I always looked up to. And if I've looked up to them my whole life, the concept of whatever that means to sell out, what does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. Like if somebody came today and were like, all right, you're going to make, I don't know, $200,000 more a year if you start dressing like this and wearing your hair like this, I can't do it. I physically can't do it. Not happening. So, what is the compromise? What does that mean? Look at it. Oh, I don't know. I wrote this down. Harvey Weinstein. How was he able to get away with that? How was he able to get away with that? I'll tell you. He was surrounded by the anointed people. The people that in no matter what bad's going on, they turn a blind eye. Why? Because they're making a lot of money and they're getting attention. That's what happens. It's like my thing with the police problems. Anytime people go after the cops, they go, hey, don't do that. There's plenty of good cops, man. And I agree. There's tons of good cops. I'm friends with a lot of them. But I will say this. All the good cops turn an eye. They turn a blind eye to the bad cops. Because if they don't, they get ousted. That's the way it is. Look at the political spectrum. Same thing. You'll see this group going after this group in politics, and they're attacking each other all day. But there's certain things they don't attack each other on. They stay away. They don't talk about the details of how they make money in the stock market. They don't talk about the military-industrial complex. They don't talk about how they're lobbied in detail. No one talks about these things. As soon as you bring up campaign finance reform, it gets a little weird. right? That's because that's what I'm talking about. If you're going to go join that club, you have to be ready to. Now you have the fake anointed, the people that pretend like they're not anointed. I won't say who, but there's a lot of politicians that are like, I'm the bad boy here or the bad girl and I'm tough. And they get in there and then they don't do anything. They do what they're told. They make it look like they're about ready to do some crazy vote. And then when you look at it, they really didn't do it. Jimmy Dore's always pointing that stuff out. Yeah, it's so frustrating that there's really the core of the problem is so deep, nobody does anything about it. That's like with the police problem. I still haven't heard somebody say what I just said. There's lots of bad cops, there's lots of good cops. But the problem is the good cops turn a blind eye to the bad cops. They do. That's it. They put up with it. I'm trying to think of other situations. Well, look at Harvey Weinstein. Why haven't we heard anything else about that? There's a group of anointed people that, scary. Nobody's opening their mouths with that guy. From what I gather, he is literally Jeffrey Epstein, who didn't kill himself. I will add that. He's like a Bond villain who I believe started with the Israeli government maybe, but then kind of came over to us. He basically has, Zalthon kicked in. Sorry. Zalfie went after Fallon. Yeah, there's a lot of anointed people who then had blackmail material on them. That's a weird cocktail. Oh yeah. So, let's talk about this. What would I be willing to compromise? It sounds like when I talk about my way of working that I'm hard to work with. And the answer is no. I do a lot of collaborations. Collaborations that are really complex, like being in a band and writing music or producing shows with other people and making creative decisions on that level. And I like, someone just, somebody's got 824. And so I do a lot of these kind of jobs, but I realize the people that I work well with are honest. They also don't, when one of their ideas is criticized, their ego isn't hurt. Why? Because I'm good at explaining the whys. If I explain in absolute detail of why I think something doesn't work, and I think the person over on the other side's not listening because of their ego, I can't work with them. Just like if somebody criticizes something I do, that's great. Just explain it in detail so I understand it, and then I'll be able to adjust. And so that's the type of people I work with. And also the people I like to work with are the ones that trust my judgment. A lot of the shows that I do, I have free reign. They're just like, you do your thing. You've gotten this far with that act, go do that act. I've done other shows where after you do your act, somebody who's not as good as you performing gives you notes. Really. Imagine you being a professional entertainer and you've done thousands of shows, and then somebody who hasn't done thousands of shows is like, I think this could be a little better in your show. And they're giving you notes without you asking. Not cool. Well, here's what I've noticed. And I'm going to sum this all up. Power corrupts. That's it. You get a little bit of power. Our chemical computer's not good at handling this stuff, and it corrupts. You start making sour decisions. It's just a fact of the matter. It gets built into our DNA, it would seem. Everything eventually gets corrupt. Not only does everything get corrupt, if my comment was in our culture, money excuses bad behavior. Yes! Money excuses bad behavior. It does all the time. Well, look how much money you made. Right? That's what it is. Power corrupts. Everything's corrupt. Everything. entropy is happening. If you don't stop maintaining something, entropy takes over. It starts to decay. Everything that's born immediately starts to grow and then die. I mean, that's life. Time is the direction entropy's moving. And it is moving. So you have power corrupting. Eventually everything that happens. And then entropy's taking in charge. Things are decaying, right? And falling apart, and you're having to maintain them. And then there's I call it there's always an asshole principle. Always one asshole. Sometimes two. So, who gets anointed? Well, I think the people that get anointed are the ones that are dumb and follow along of what they're told, don't have an opinion on their own. And the other person that gets anointed are the sharks. The people that have the same ethics as the bad guy in the scene. They all spot each other. They know who they are. Harvey Weinstein knew who to go after. He's like, that guy or that guy. And they see it. And so they look for other sharks. And so now they have a few sharks. And they have dirt on them. And when you have dirt on that guy, he ain't going to open his mouth. So that's what it would seem. And then you add that always an asshole kind of principle. There's always going to be a guy messing it up. What are you willing to give up? I'm willing to trade in and compromise if I think the reason that the person suggesting the thing or whatever it is, or the idea presented that I should adopt, agrees to my core values. That's it. If it agrees to my core values and my aesthetics that I value and want to represent myself through in the world, I'm in. I've done compromise. I've done things like if I'm writing a song and somebody gives me something new that I might not have ever seen, I will try it out. I'm a fan of that. Like if somebody writes a song for me to sing, I'll give it a shot. I always do. It might go in a new direction. It might get me to try something new I never did. It also might suck, but I'm going to give it a try. If it fits in and I learn something, yeah, maybe I'll go that direction. I also have to be careful of any compromise I make and what it's doing in my recorder system. My recorder system is me. It's my subconscious. It's listening to everything I do and say. I've said this before. There's no God listening to you that's going to judge you. It's you. You're going to judge yourself. Your subconscious is listening. So every crappy decision you make, every compromise that you do, every time you look at yourself and go, I don't like who I am, I didn't like what I did, I need to be a better person, and then you keep doing it, that's all getting recorded over and over. And you have to sort that out. It will come out. If you are a cold robot with no emotions and you don't produce any oxytocins or none of those bonding chemicals, maybe you're fine. Maybe, there are types like that. They're like robots. Nothing means anything. They're like very non-emotional to anything. And they can do something that doesn't fit their core value. Why? Because they don't really have a core value, right? And that's fine for them, but not for me. I have to deal with my own subconscious. And in reality, everybody else has to kind of deal with my subconscious too, don't they? If my subconscious is at war with myself and I'm losing my mind, doesn't that affect everybody else around me? Fallon, I'm going to look at your comment here. Selling out feels like shades of compromise. If it gets you in front of the audience, then you can channel your inner odorous and rock. Okay, I was going to end with this. How do you game it? Because what you're saying is gaming the anointment system. I always thought, what does it mean to be really famous? Well, the cool thing is more people get to listen to you. That's it. For instance, once my channel hits 1,000 viewers, they hit the unshadow button. Hopefully, they don't have to. And then my channel starts to spread out a little bit, meaning it pops up in certain places that might not normally. More people get to hear me. So Fallon, you're saying, yeah, shades of compromise just to get you in, and then you can show them what you're doing. True. But what if your core values clash with that? I guess you could get in there. So, okay, what you're saying is kind of how I do nightclubs. If a new nightclub calls me and it pays way less than I would ever normally do, if it's a new crowd of people, I might do the show because I'm going to have a new set of people, a new world that might open up to what I do. So I do agree with you on that. There is a way to game it all, to use it to your advantage, and a way to use magic to influence that also. Magic meaning symbolism, ritual, metaphor, how you dress, how you behave. You can influence it. A good wizard, and this is my new way of looking at wizards. And when I use the word wizard, I'm not talking about a Dungeons and Dragons wizard or a magician. I'm talking about a real one, okay? I don't use that word in a jokey format. I mean it for real. A wizard. Like the Wizard of Oz, like him. A real wizard. To me, what a real wizard does is first, they're able to set the frame and see things how they want to see them. And if they're a good wizard, if that frame is really good, everybody else around them will look through the wizard's frame. That's what I think. My opinion. Wow. I mean, this was a meaty subject here. I'm curious of more thoughts. Yeah, what does it mean? Well, that's it. But it's still, the balance is there, but it still doesn't get you anointed. Look at Lenny Kravitz. That guy was anointed. I forever was like, why is that guy considered a rock star? You know, you've got the Dave Grohl, the Lenny Kravitz, and all these guys that are just like the most garbage rock stars of all time. Generic constructs. And the real rock stars, like the Bon Scotts, the Lemmys, what do you get? I mean, I had one of my friends was like, look, you know, I make more money than you, but you have what we can't have. You know, you got the street cred. So by being the wizard, are you gaming the system? Well, okay, well, by being the wizard, I would say wizards are born, not made. But once you're born a wizard, there is room for growth. There's some natural abilities involved in that concept. You have to have something about the person that gets you to see through their frame, and you can study and make it better. Making it doesn't necessarily mean you sold out. No, it doesn't. You can make it without selling out, for sure. It's a longer, harder journey usually, and you still will not be concluded in the club. You might be in a different thing, but it's getting to be the point where you can't make it unless you sell out, because making it requires you to go through myriads of platforms where they can turn you off. In the old days, they couldn't call you and go, you know what? We don't like your politics. We're turning off your electric bill. They didn't do that. Now they're doing it. So selling out is going to mean something differently in the future. I do think if you're a wizard type, back to your point, Amanda. Are you gaming the system? I don't know how to. No, I don't think so. Well, by being a wizard, you're not gaming the system. I guess you could say you're gaming the system. You could say that. I wouldn't use it in those terms. I would say the wizard's born, not made. He's able to influence people to see what he's seeing. He's able to communicate his vision and his ideas so that other people, A, understand them, and B, maybe not agree with them, but see why he would agree with them. And then you add on top of it, the wizard is able to see the world in a manner that might be new, different, and exciting. Seeing the world through, oh, hey, sis, how are you? My sister's in the house. My mama and my sister. Seeing the world through the wizard's eyes is a lot more exciting than seeing the world through the banker's eyes. And if he does a good job, people will start to look through his frame. They'll start to use his frame to see their world. That's what I did when I met. Well, when I first heard the Ramones, I didn't have to look through their frame because it was similar to the frame I already was using. Yeah. Wow. I'm like, whew. It's a lot of talking tonight. So, what are your thoughts, folks? My way of working is to do my thing as best I can. True to myself, true to what I think as my nature. Things that I don't feel like I'm compromising in any way, shape, or form. Things that I like. I remember many times showing up to do a photo shoot with my band, and we were being hired to be my band. You know, it was Toilet Boys, and they would have a stylist. And I know that when you get in the real world, that's how it is. They're like, hey, we're doing a photo shoot, and we have these special shirts for you to wear today, or these pants. And I would get there, and I would be like, I'm not wearing this junk. Nowhere in my contract here it says I have to wear stuff that some stylist pulled for me. They don't know me. Yeah, they'll make the clothes fit by pinning it and making it look good, but they hired me to be myself, which is what my band, it was an extension of myself, my band character. It's me. And I would never wear these things or comb my hair that way in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not going to do it. I don't want that representative of who I am in any way, shape, or form. And I would argue with them, and then they would usually say, okay, I can show you photo shoots where I'm wearing my stuff, and it says I'm wearing something else. Because they had to. Now, I've done modeling gigs where I'm being paid to wear other people's clothes. But I still am able to get them to do what I want. I did the Rosa Cha gig. I was in a fashion brand's video, and I did their spring campaign a few years ago. It was great money. It was a high-profile job. I ended up wearing all of my own clothing and my own hairstyle. They were looking through my frame. I'm trying to think of... Oh, I did I've done some really high-profile runway shows where they let me wear my own clothes, even though it was for another brand. Stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can make it work. There's a way. There's a way to game that. And I've been doing that my whole life. Yeah, you stay true to yourself, as Dan says, and that's it. You're always going to be a success. I really think, Fallon wrote, the system feels like a turning gear wheel, and the wizard has their own gear. Sometimes the teeth click and the magic slips out. Yeah, okay, that's a neat analogy. I like that. Yeah, the model gig is literally you're putting on somebody else's clothing. I mean, that's what it is. But when you're doing a photo shoot and they have a stylist showing up with random clothes, I'll bring my own clothes, thank you. I've spent my life curating my stuff. I don't need help. That's like when a stylist wants to do my hair. I'm like, no, I'll do it. You can look at the back. you can comb the back hairs a bit because I can't see them so well. But I don't. Part of what I do is me. So here's an idea, and I think I mentioned this a few times. But I remember being in a play when I was younger and working on my character, and then they're like, oh yeah, here's your costume design. And I was like, I would never wear this. My character would never dress like this. I get you have some arty-farty design thing that's going to fit into the show, but don't you think you should consult with the dude that's going to be moving around and portraying this character in that silly outfit? Right? Makes sense. Wow, folks, I'm tired talking, and I want to go to the beach. It's nice out. It's hot and humid here, and we had a great crowd tonight. I hope you enjoyed that. I just wanted to flesh out some of the ideas in there and talk about them, because I have a lot of people that see me perform in a nightclub, a restaurant, a corporate gig, a celebrity function, playing music in front of thousands of people, all of this. And people all the time go, you should be famous, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, great. What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. I have friends that are famous, yet if I walk down the street in Manhattan, more people recognize me. What does that mean? Again, it's all relative and nonsense and stupid. It doesn't mean anything. And so to me, it's like, I'm always thinking about, what does this mean? Like, people are always like, you should be on America's Got Talent, and you should be doing this, and I'm like, shouldn't I be doing what I want to be doing? Ever think of asking me if I would want to be on America's Got Talent? The answer is no. But you see, people have weird conceptions of how this thing works, and I don't know. People don't talk about it enough. Yeah. Thank you, Daryl. That means a lot. Thank you. I mean, to me, I don't know if I call it wisdom. I would say what we're doing is just sorting things out. We're sorting out thoughts and details and definitions of words. And I think we need to do that more often. People don't do it. You can't do it online anymore. You can't do what we're doing right now. How you're talking to me right now, and I'm talking back. Even though you're text chatting, you can't do that with Facebook. Facebook is sorted. Everybody's sorted into their little groups. Their little tribal groups. So, stay away. Turn your my advice to everybody, my wisdom for the day is, turn off your TV. Turn it off. Cover it. Put it away for a couple months. See what happens. You'll be shocked. I'm coming up on a month without even watching anything. Nothing. No power in my television. Every now and then I'll put it on and watch a movie, but I'm taking a break again. Maybe I'll watch TV after August. I don't know. We'll see. Joel, thank you. Well, folks, I'm going to take us out with my outro. And I will see you not on Friday, but on Monday. Another live show right here, episode 74. So tell your friends about the show. You don't have a TV, that's the greatest thing in the world. Tell your friends about the show. Pass it around. If you donate, cool, it goes into the show. If you don't donate, cool, watch the show. Keep watching. I'm flattered that I have a crowd. And you guys show up. And now we're at a solid 20 live every time. Pushing 30 once in a while. So, folks, I love doing this show. And I can't wait to keep doing more. It helps me sort out my ideas. I learn a lot from you too, everybody else. So thank you. I'm going to finish this fake beer, and I'm going to go to the beach. Party on, everybody. Have a great evening, and I will see you all on Monday. Oh, what was I going to say? Do I have anything coming up? No. Tomorrow night, Wits End, there's a burlesque show, and I'm running it. See ya, everybody.